Mr. Speaker, with Christopher, who wrote to me this week, and he says, in the last 5 years, my husband has had only a 1% increase in his wages. The cost of living has risen each year. We now have at least 15% less buying power than them. So where is Christopher and his husband's share in the stronger economy?
What we know, and what I can say to Christopher is that he will have a choice at the next election. A choice between the strong and stable leadership and a Labour Party which will secure our economy for the future, and the Conservatives which would crash our economy, which would mean less money for public services, and the ordinary working families would pay the price.
Mr. Speaker, isn't the truth that many people are being held back by this government that has slashed taxes for the rich and held back or cut the pay of dedicated public servants? Mr. Speaker, Andy, a parent, is concerned about how his children are being held back. He asks why, despite the fact they've worked consistently since leaving school, all 3 of my children, who are now in their mid-20s, cannot afford to move out of the family home. Isn't this a crisis that many people are facing all over the country? Don't we need a housing strategy that deals with it?
I'll come on to that. Under the last Conservative government, house building starts fell by 45%. Under the last Conservative government, homes purchased in England fell by 40%, and the number of social rented homes under Conservative government fell by 420,000.
Mr. Speaker, the last Labour government delivered a decent home standard for every council home in the whole of the country, and it's something we are very proud of. Very proud of indeed of that achievement. And her government, house building has fallen to the lowest level since the 1920s. More people homeless, more people on waiting lists, more people overcrowded, more people unable to pay the rent. That is the record of the Tory government. And Mr. Speaker, our children are being held back by Conservative cuts. Laura, a young primary school teacher, wrote to me this week saying, I'm seeing a decrease each year in available cash to provide a quality education to the children in my class, and an increase in reliance upon our Parent Teachers Association. So is the Prime Minister still denying the fact that funding for each pupil is still being cut?
But at the election on the 8th of June, people are going to have a very clear choice.
People want what is rightfully theirs. Maureen asks, what can be done to help the WASPy women?
If the right honourable gentleman wants to talk about pensions and pensioners looking to the future, then once again there will be a very clear choice at this election. And a Conservative government would do it again. Crash the economy, more debt, more waste, higher taxes, fewer jobs. That does nothing for ordinary working families or for pensioners. Every vote for me is a vote for strong and stable leadership, for strong and stable, for strong and stable, for strong and stable, for strong and stable.
I made this.